Hey guys, this is the story of Harjinder Singh, a truck driver in USA, originally from India. In August 2025, he made a decision on a Florida highway that took the lives of 3 people and created a political storm across America. In today's video, I will go into full detail about what exactly happened, how Harjinder Singh is, the crash, the investigation, the political drama between Florida and California, and what impact this case will have on immigration and trucking in America. I've added the full list of my sources in the description. You can check them out if you want to. I've divided the video into parts so that it's easier to understand what has happened so far. Harjinder Singh is a 28-year-old man originally from India. He came to the USA illegally in 2018 by crossing the Mexican border. He was arrested at the border and then applied for asylum, saying he feared for his life if sent back to India. He was released on a $5,000 bond while his asylum case was being processed, which can sometimes take between several years. During this time, a person can also be issued a temporary work permit. On June 9, 2021, under the Biden administration, Harjinder's work permit was approved. From that point, he could legally work in the U.S. as long as his EAD was valid. In April 2025, his work permit was renewed with an expiration date set for 2030. So now the timeline of his work permit is clear, and it's also clear that he did in fact have a valid federal work permit. Now let's talk about his commercial driver's license, CDL, which has become the central issue in this case. In 2023, despite his weak English and inability to understand several road signs, Harjinder was issued a full-term CDL in Washington state. Full term means same duration as any other regular CDL in that state. How he managed to get that license is currently under investigation, but it was issued. In 2024, Harjinder obtained a limited-term CDL in California after his legal status was verified through his work permit. California does not issue CDLs to undocumented individuals. Now friends, I want to clarify something here because there is a lot of misinformation around this topic. First, let's understand who is considered an undocumented immigrant. In simple terms, an undocumented immigrant is someone who has no legal status in the U.S. For example, someone who crosses the border illegally and isn't caught, or someone who enters on a valid tourist visa for 6 months but then overstays. Harjinder Singh crossed the border illegally but was arrested immediately, then claimed asylum and was released on bond. In American legal terms, this does not give him lawful status, but it does give him temporary permission to remain in the U.S. until his case is heard, and during this time he's not considered unlawfully present. He's also eligible for a temporary work permit. Another question people been asking around is, if Harjinder Singh already had a CDL from Washington state, why did he apply for one in California? There isn't clear information on this online so far, but from my research, the house where Harjinder was arrested in August 2025 was linked to him, and several media outlets have referred to him as the Stockton trucker. It seems like Harjinder became a California resident, and in the US, you must obtain a driver's license in the state where you reside and surrender the old one. Since he had a valid work permit, he could obtain a CDL in any state where he lived, even Florida, if he were a resident there. You may also have heard people claim that Harjinder had AB60 license. California issues this special type of license to people with no legal status in the US. You don't need to prove lawful presence for this. But AB60 is only for personal vehicles, not for commercial driving. It is not a CDL. This license itself has been controversial. Currently, 19 states issue similar licenses under different names. Now let's talk about the crash. This tragedy happened on August 12, 2025 on Florida's Turnpike near Fort Pierce. On this road, the median has occasional opening marked for official use only, reserved for emergency vehicles like police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks. Normal traffic is not allowed to use them, especially not trucks. Harjinder Singh attempted to make a U-turn through one of these gaps. While turning, his truck blocked all lanes for a brief period. A car coming from behind did not have enough time to react and crashed into the trailer. 2 passengers in the car died instantly, and the driver died later in the hospital. Harjinder remained at the crash site. Police questioned him and took a statement but did not arrest him immediately, since at the time there were no charges against him. Usually, in such cases, police first conduct a full investigation, reviewing dash cam footage and witness statements, unless it's a DUI or hit and run. Now let's talk about his flight to California and his arrest. Because there were no charges or restrictions immediately after the crash, Harjinder flew to Stockton in California with his brother between August 13th and 14th. Florida officials later portrayed this as him fleeing. On August 15, 2025, a warrant was issued for his arrest, charging him with 3 counts of vehicular homicide. Vehicular homicide means when someone's wrongful driving caused the death of another person. On August 16th, U.S. Marshals arrested him in Stockton, California. ICE also placed a detainer, meaning once his criminal case ends, ICE will arrest him for immigration violations. When someone is legally transferred from one state to another, the process is called extradition. Normally, this takes time, with hearings in court, but Harjinder signed a waiver giving up the right to contest it. That made the transfer faster. On August 21, 2025, Florida's Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins personally traveled to California and escorted Harjinder back to Florida on a state-arranged flight. This move drew a lot of media attention. Now let's talk about Harjinder's custody and bond. On August 23, 2025, Harjinder's first court hearing was held in St. Lucie County, Florida. With the help of a translator, he appeared before Judge Lawrence Sweet. The judge denied him bond, calling him a flight risk. At that time, Harjinder was already facing 3 vehicular homicide charges, and Judge Sweet added 3 additional charges of manslaughter. Manslaughter means taking someone's life without pre-planning or intent. Harjinder remains in St. Lucie County Jail. Now let's talk a little bit about English language test controversy. After the crash, federal investigators tested Harjinder's English proficiency. He answered only 2 out of 12 verbal questions correctly and identified just 1 out of 4 road signs. This sparked heavy debate in the media. How could someone with such poor English skills have been issued a CDL in the first place? Let's talk about political and policy fallout aspect. As a result of this case, the U.S. government suspended issuing commercial truck driver visas, citing the need for a safety review. This has affected thousands of people at a time when the U.S. is already facing a truck driver shortage. On the political side of things, Florida officials and Republicans pointed fingers at California's licensing policies. California responded that Harjinder had a valid federal work permit, and based on that, his CDL complied with the rules. Let's talk about public reaction. After Harjinder's English test results and licensing history became public, many people online were outraged. Debates broke out over flaws in the licensing system, differences between state and federal standards, and the complexities of immigration policy. An online petition was also launched asking Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to reduce Harjinder's sentence. So what's next? Harjinder Singh is now facing a total of 6 charges, 3 vehicular homicide and 3 manslaughter. If found guilty, he may be looking at up to 45 years of sentence. Whether he will be convicted and for how long will only be decided after the trial. No final date has been set yet. Once the criminal trial is over, based on the outcome, ICE could also begin deportation proceedings against him. This case has raised serious questions about how CDLs are issued, how work permits are verified, and overall highway safety. 1 wrong U-turn, 3 lives lost, and now a test for policy, politics, and justice. Harjinder Singh's story shows how systems, safety, and laws are all connected, and how a flaw in even one of them can shake everything up. This was my explanation of Harjinder Singh's case. Thank you for watching.